Finally,
Finally.
I'm so sorry. I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry. I'm still new to this whole thing.
No
And
worries. Yeah, so it's good anyway that we are learning. Yeah, Kimfire, that's okay. That's fine. So it's good that we are learning, obviously. So now you know how to go live as a co-host.
well, yeah. Now I know how learning through experience. I love that.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, we'll just get started.
Okay.
Just so that we don't waste too much time. And first of all, nice to meet you, like on live. Um, so we've been communicating. And yeah, so it's so inspiring. Your story is so inspiring, and I thought the world need to hear it, right?
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, so we will start by you introducing yourself. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, please. So my name is Tariro Perleberg. I usually go by Tari. It's easier for people here to understand me. I am a mother of two. I'm married. My kids are aged 9 and 7. Um, I came from Zimbabwe, Harare, Mufakose. I am 33, going 34. I just released my book. It's called Unfiltered. It's called Unfiltered: A Life Without Masks, and it's in 3 parts. The first part is basically my story from Zimbabwe till 33, and then the rest is as I write it, as I was going through it, as I was writing it, and it's a small little beautiful surprise. You should go get it. It's on Amazon. And please let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your reviews.
Amazing, amazing. So what was it like growing up in Zimbabwe?
Where to begin? Oh my goodness. So I was born in Mufakose, and Mufakose is like it's one of the ghettos, it's something that we don't have in Germany, for example. We all live amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
I was born in a family of 4 back then. Now we're 5. I had 2 brothers, and I had a younger sister. She's also here in Germany with me right now.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, it was tough as a mixed child, first of all, because I didn't look like everyone else. My sister is half Dutch, half Zimbabwean, and it was interesting, but at the same time, I have such a passion for Zimbabwean people. They're so community based, and I learned so much from both sides. I learned so much from the trauma side of it, and then I learned so much from the culture side of it, which I now obviously treasure a lot, and I am very proud of my heritage.
Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, that was the next question I was going to ask you about your experience being mixed race, because obviously there's so many mixed race people
Yes.
who are in the continent and out of the continent. Yeah, so what would you like? What is your message to them? And also, what can you share that can encourage them?
Um, First of all, there's a huge identity crisis that you go through, because even though you're amongst the black people, the from your mother's side, from my mother's side, which are my people, I identify as black because I was raised black. But I never fit in, and there's just this ache. It's visible. You don't belong. You don't fit in, and so I had so many identity crisis issues
Yeah.
from as young as 12 throughout. It got better when I got to around 20. I had a rough idea who I am. But I feel like it dropped me off a lot. If I had known back then who I am, I wouldn't have allowed half the things that would have happened to me. I don't know if you understand. So there's a lot of identity crisis that goes with that. And even I had also lots of, I was also, even though I grew up in Mufakose, I had such an exposure to people who are on the other side. If you grew up in Africa, you understand, like the poor, like extremely poor, and then there's like the middle class people, and then there's like the super rich people, which I had exposure to all of it. But it's something that I always struggled with. I never felt like I belonged. And in the end, I started realizing that I was attracting my own community, and those people that I ended up connecting with, they became my community, my family, had nothing to do with what I look like or how I look like. And yeah, so it's an interesting, very complex topic that we can go down the rabbit hole in. Um, in comparison to me now, how I see it now, first of all, I don't know who my father is, so that was like a huge gap in my life that I tried to block out for as long as I could. Um, and in comparison to now, I know for a fact exactly who I am now. And this actually followed me all the way to Germany, the way I tried to dress myself, the way I tried to do my hair, for example.
Yeah.
And then until I finally realized I'm not a white woman. Yes, I live in a white woman's land, but I'm not a white woman. I'm a black woman. I need to start dressing the way that makes me feel whole and start doing my hair the way that makes me feel whole, not the way everyone else thinks it should be. And it's actually quite freeing once I embrace that aspect of myself. I love it because then you're yourself, and a lot of people are afraid to be themselves, and I found that to be quite freeing.
Absolutely. And just to give you a bit of comfort, we Africans as well, we struggle with identity crisis because
That is beautiful.
because we have the white education in our heads, if that makes sense, or Caucasian education, colonization, you know.
Yeah.
So we are not ourselves, so don't worry. You're not the only one, but it's up to us. Yeah, it's really up to us then to start rediscovering who we are and
Absolutely.
Erase the bad imagery of Africa that you've had since childhood and even you experienced, because once you start the journey of healing, right, you then start realizing, oh my gosh, my mother needed to heal,
Yeah. Oh, that's basically what it's in my book.
Yeah, and it's a lot of like generational stuff that need healing,
Yes.
and you're the one who get to do the work.
Yes. And the work is hard.
It's hard. It's heavy,
hard.
So just to give you a bit of comfort, we go through the same. However, for you, obviously, we know that it's a bit more complex because literally, your face is lighter, right? However, crazy thing is, as diasporans, when you go back to Africa, it's kind of the same thing. They are like, you don't belong. You I'm like, hey, I grew up here. Look, I'm even speaking your language.
This is why I feel really, really not sad, but I worry about the children who are being born here in Europe, in America, or in the Western world. And I know a lot of friends who also who are African, and they've had their kids here, and I've said more than once, these kids are going to struggle because here they're seen as foreign kids, but even back home in their own families, in their own roots, they're not going to be able to relate because they've been raised up as European kids. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can imagine those kids going back now and they're not going to find their spot. Even though they are amongst black people, they're not going to find themselves there. And
yeah. And that's what this page is about. Is about calling all the African women to find themselves and to heal and reconnect back to their roots. They have a very, very wealthy heritage that they need to protect and introduce to their children, So that's what Diaspora Daughters is all about. And Diaspora Daughter is for all the daughters, whether you're light-skinned or you're not.
Thank you.
It includes you as well, because you're our children. We can't throw you away. You're our children. So
thank you. When you grow up and you see your mother, the one person who's supposed to tell you who you are, and all of a sudden, first of all, they look different from you. And I've had this conversation with my daughter. My daughter looks like a Spanish girl. She has nice wavy hair, and she said the same thing to me. She said, Mama, how do you feel that I look different from you? She's 9 and she's asking those questions already. And I said, well, I love it, but I understand that your friends are going to ask this and you're going to have to answer this. So how do you feel about it? I asked my daughter about it, and she says, well, you had my mom, you're my mom, and everything else doesn't matter. But again, I really feel like this generation that we're raising, they really don't see color at all. They see people, they see people's personalities, because children
And Tari is to be honest, right? It's very, very important that they see color, because no one is blind. Everybody who says, "Oh, I don't see color," then I have a problem with,
Yeah.
because literally, how can you not see this? You know? So we cannot deny ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And we cannot deny our history. That is
Yeah.
it. That's just it. It's just real, right? Whether we like it or not, it's real. It's what it is. You
Yeah.
know, discrimination exists,
It
right?
does. It
What
does.
is more important than anything is for you to know yourself and for you to accept yourself. That's very, very important. And when you teach your children not to see color, then that's a very big problem, because other people see the color.
I hear what you're saying. I absolutely hear it, but I meant it in the term that they just see a person's personality and they would choose whether they like them or not.
Yeah, I see what you mean, especially when they are young as well, right? When they are young, they're just very innocent. All children are very, very innocent when they are young. They've not been indoctrinated into believing that one race is superior than the other. So it's very, very important that we be the teachers to these children. Even though they have teachers in schools, we be the biggest teachers, and we teach them the truth. That's very, very important. Don't lie to the children. Let them know the truth.
That's absolutely important. But what I found out, on the other hand, is teaching is not enough. If I don't embody myself, my African side, it's
Absolutely.
not enough.
True.
So it starts with me, like you're saying, I know who I am now. I am proud of who I am. I am proud of my heritage, and I will clearly and loudly sing it for everyone to hear. That alone, as my daughter watches me embody myself and embody that side of myself,
Absolutely.
there is nothing more I need to say to her.
Absolutely.
It's up to her now to embody it too or to reject it. But I believe the way that I'm raising my children, they're proud of their heritage.
That's very important. Yeah. And that's all we can do, right? We can't really do much. We can only do the best we can, right?
Yeah. But this goes back to the point you brought, this colonialism mindset. In 2019, I visited Zimbabwe for the first time with my husband and children. And my husband was afraid because he's white and he had seen some crazy stuff on the internet. And I had to tell him, you have nothing to worry about because you're white. And this is something that breaks my heart. And I said, because you're white, you could be the worst devil. But everyone's going to love and accept you and think you have best intentions with them just for the fact that you're white. And really, when we were there, my husband was treated as a king.
Exactly.
And it broke his own heart to see that. And as Africans, we have a lot of healing and we have a lot of pride to claim,
the problem with us as well is that we treat the Caucasians better than we treat our own. So that is a very big problem, and it's an identity crisis. Why don't we all treat people the same,
Not even. I believe every nation, I've been studying this last couple of months, different cultures, whether it be Indian, Swahili, my mother's culture. And what I found to be quite profound is there's so many riches in each and every one of them. We were so individually connected, even though we speak different languages, even the way we worshipped.
And we have so much to learn from each other, right? We have so much to learn from each other.
So if I stand here and I say I'm Zimbabwean, and I'm proud of it, and you're Kenyan and you're proud of it, we can start there. And I believe we need to start being proud to be African. We need to start.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm sending all the diaspora daughters to go back to their roots and rediscover their culture, learn about their culture and the truth. And they need to learn the truth, because most of what you are taught in school is propaganda. which is
It is.
very, very unfair. It's very, very unfair that we didn't learn the truth about ourselves, you know?
Do you know where it goes back to? Again, it goes back to colonialism, because they came, we had our own systems already. We had our ways of
Absolutely.
talking to God, and everything was working perfectly. And then imagine someone comes into your house, walks into your house and says, okay, you have a really lovely house, I like it, I would like to
Absolutely.
take it for myself, how can I
Yeah.
do that? First of all,
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy all of your belief systems. I'm going to
Absolutely.
tell you that the ancestors that you're talking to are demons and they're
Yeah.
evil, and you
Hmm.
need to worship my God. That was the
Yeah.
first. The first.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Destabilizing belief.
Yeah.
Because the minute you lose that belief, the crisis starts already. You're like, okay, so who do I need to be now? They're saying I need to worship their God and mine is wrong, so I'm going to start worshiping them. In that moment already, that's where we were separated. That's where
Absolutely. It's
it started.
it started spiritually, right? So you
Yes.
attack spiritually and then you then attack physically, right?
Yes. You start
So
here.
at first, yeah, at first they brought the missionaries, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then the missionary obviously, we are good, we are coming to help you, you know, just stop doing this stuff you're doing, just, convert to Christianity, blah, blah, blah.
There is only one God, and it's our God, and you need to
Yeah,
worship.
yeah. And then you're evil, your culture is evil, you're bad people, we need to save you, all that, right?
Yeah, yeah, oh
And
yeah,
then
that part. We need to save you, but whilst we're saving you, we're gonna take your land and give you the worst part of it, and then you're gonna come and work in our land, and this is how we're saving you.
yeah, and then obviously after that they bring in the people with the guns now. You can't fight guns, and yet your mind has been corrupted as well, and
Yeah.
your spirituality has been disconnected, because our spirituality was quite strong, African
It still
spirituality.
is. It still
and,
very
and
is.
and it still is, yeah, thank you for that, yeah, and it still is, very, very strong, and that's what countries like Haiti fought, freed themselves from slavery,
Yeah.
through their African spirituality that they didn't let die, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how our whole culture was taken over, and that's how we lost ourselves as a people. And then what happened is they installed puppets to make sure that they continue their routing.
Yeah.
So the truth is the truth, and we have to teach the children the truth.
Yeah. And
They
not
have to
just that,
know.
after they took the lands and everything, and then we were ruled under colonialism, we started watching, of course, and the media played a huge part. I remember watching as a child. If you watched anything from America, it felt like, okay, that's the goal, that's the dream,
Yeah,
and that just kept on coming and kept on coming. And my point with that is, even now, a lot of people are waking up and realizing that is slavery.
yeah,
Slavery to monetization, slavery to owning things, this desire to just keep on owning more.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. It's never enough, is it?
no, and at the end of it, none of it can buy your peace. None of it
Exactly.
can really give you the life that you need. And I'm learning and I'm realizing right now, of course, money can't buy you happiness. It definitely cannot buy you happiness. And they try to sell a life that we all supposed to live, but you can't make a life one fits all for everyone, because
Exactly.
it's so
And Tari, we had everything.
we did.
We didn't need to work
We
for no
were
one.
content. Yes, we were content. We
We
were
didn't need to
content.
work for money.
No,
You know,
no, we did not.
we had everything, and our creator just gave us everything, literally, coconuts falling down the tree,
Our land is so rich.
berries in the bushes, and
Yeah,
those are the times when we had the organic seeds, which grew in abundance. Now we have GMO, which just grows one crop, and then you have to go buy more seed. How
yeah,
crazy is that, right?
yeah, yeah.
So we found ourselves enslaved.
Absolutely. And I love that I came to Germany. There's something, and I believe I was always meant to learn in a country like Germany, because it allowed me to be myself. Germans do not beat around the bush. in the beginning, if you're a people pleaser, you will not like it. But the more you interact with them, you realize they're just very honest people. They don't feel the need to wear a mask. You know, you go outside, and this is what we all have as Africans. I believe, and this comes from colonialism as well. I have the need to smile even when I feel absolutely horrible inside, because people had to do that around the white people to gain favor, for their lives to be a bit easier.
Yeah, but that's a choice. Remember, that's a choice. We have it in the UK as well. There's a lot of fake smiles.
Yes, but this is the thing, when you are unaware, you keep on playing this role, and this is where I came to. So I had been running my own nursery for 5 years. It was so successful. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with children. And Germany pays a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even though my husband was switching careers right now, he went back to school. We were absolutely more than okay on just my salary. We bought a house on just my salary. But in November, something in me broke. I woke up one day and I couldn't do that job anymore. I couldn't. I just could not. And what I thought was depression, I thought I'm going through a burnout, I'm going through depression. I even spent 5 days in a psych ward because I thought, okay, I'm broken. Something's wrong. I'm broken. I need help.
I need
help.
And
after spending 3 days there, I realized I don't belong here. I absolutely don't belong here. I knew I had a lot of love waiting for me at home, and I knew I needed to give myself time because I've done this more than once before. I just needed to remember, okay, you've been here before. You can do this. And even my daughter said, you actually didn't need to come at all. We believed you can do it. Because the things that should have broken me didn't break me. So this is not the thing that's going to break me.
Absolutely.
And as I spent time alone, and I've been a Christian for most of my life, I always ran to God as a refuge and to the church people because I knew I could trust church people. And I'd been going to this church here, actually, that was super conservative. Women have to wear skirts, and women can't speak, and But being in a European country, finding a Baptist church is hard. So I was like, okay, this is the closest thing I can get to a church. And anyway, after I had my breakdown, I came back home, and I started looking at my whole life, and I realized I got really good at playing the game. I got really good at playing like the Matrix, what people are saying right now.
Yeah.
Good at wearing masks that I wore masks until I completely lost myself.
Wow.
And that's what happened. And in those 3 months, best 3 months that have happened to my life, they were extremely difficult because I was doing a lot of shadow work. And I call it shadow work because you're literally sitting with all of your demons, with all of the questions you have, the doubt, the fears, the insecurities, all those identities that you've worn, that you thought it was who you were, but it was just survival. You know, you wear a different suit for every situation you need to survive. And I had worn all those masks until I was
Thank
lost
you,
in
upgrade
myself.
that.
Yeah. And so what I realized was I was looking for God out there, praying to God up there, when God the whole time is inside of me.
Yeah.
As I was looking for myself, I found God inside of me.
Wow.
And then I started exploring everything. I still am. I have like so many theories, but I have found a grounding of what's happening, where I am, or where I need to go. And another thing that I found quite profound is how they really tried to destroy all those cultures, because all those people were were connected to the Creator. Pure
Absolutely.
soul.
Beautiful cultures, beautiful languages, you know, diversity.
Yes, and when the people from my mother's culture used to pray, they used to talk to their ancestors. They would make their wishes known. And at the end of that, they used to say, and please bring this forward to the Creator. And they were correct all along. I used to talk to my mom, like, dead people are dead. I used to get angry about it. You know, you and your sangomas.
And Tari, one day you'll become an ancestor. You wouldn't want your children to...
I talk to my ancestors. I used to have this conversation with my mom.
You wouldn't want your children to cast you away, you know?
No. I talked to my ancestors a few weeks ago. I talked to my grandmother. And I believe if she had talked to me before, and I believe she's been talking to me all along, but I was not in a position to hear her.
Yeah.
Because of all these lies. And I I talked to my grandmother. It was such a beautiful, profound moment, and I know she's been leading and guiding me, and all the way up to now. Many of them
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I was taught to demonize that. How
Absolutely.
sad is
How
that?
crazy is that? And yet when you in their schools, they're learning about their ancestors and speaking greatly about their ancestors and how great they were. But then we're meant to demonize our ancestors, make it make sense.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm very curious, and I'm exploring so many avenues. I'm having fun with it
Yeah, it's
because
fine. That's what you're here to do. It's an art school, right?
it is.
So you're here to explore, and you're never ever gonna stop exploring.
No, we
And
don't stop growing. We
yeah,
don't.
and as far as long as you're open, that's all that matters, right? You're open to learning. You're like, okay, I can't help the beliefs I got from my parents, but now I can now form my own beliefs, based on my own research.
You start asking, what else have I been lied about?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Exactly. And
It's
you
a
start
lot.
uncovering.
To be fair, Tari, we've all been lied to. Caucasian, Africans, we've all of us have been lied to, right?
Oh
But
well,
then,
yeah,
but then it's up to us now to pick up the pieces.
yeah.
And very, very importantly, especially if you're African, you need to reconnect back to your culture. I know a lot has been lost, but we can
Mhm.
find a little bit, here and there, and start applying it, like
Yeah.
having a beautiful African print in your home. I think that's what I'm planning on doing behind here one day.
Yeah. If I show
Just
you my
something that.
stairwell, sorry.
Sorry, go on.
If I show you my stairwell, it's literally full of African um, portraits. That my husband actually is the one who put them there because even though he's a white man, and I think that's why I fell in
Yeah,
love with
they appreciate it more, to be
him. Yes.
fair, right?
Yes.
Which is crazy because in my tribe, I'm from the Kikuyu tribe, right? And I've been learning a lot, especially from hosting guests like yourself, so I'm also picking up some new things, learning and exploring, so these are very rich conversations, and I'm very, very grateful to be in this. I'm grateful that I said yes to this call, because it's a call. It's quite heavy as well at times, right? But I've been learning that we had so much in common with the Maasai tribe. You know the Maasai tribe in East Africa?
Yeah.
Literally, they were our brothers. And what happened was our tribe abandoned our ways. We abandoned our ways, and most of the Maasai stuck with their ways.
Yeah.
And now they get to monetize that, right?
Yeah.
So people go, people go to their villages, right? The Maasai Manyatas, yeah, the Maasai Manyatas, and they pay to be in those Manyatas, to have the experience of those Manyatas. And the Maasais, obviously, they dress in their own outfit, in their own clothes, like the old, well, not the very, very old, but their adaptation, very colorful, I still have, some of those things, the Maasai stuff, because they're just so pretty. And even the fashion world, they've been copying them as well.
Yeah.
And then selling it to be something else, if that makes sense, like designer. And I'm like, you're literally copying our culture. We can see through. We see through you.
This is not the beginning, yeah.
I know, right? So anyway, so there's a very big difference between us and the Maasais now. We are proper westernized. And they still maintain their culture. And these people, they have thousands of cows sometimes, not all, because of, obviously, like, they've also been affected by the theft of land, right, that has happened. But they have a lot of wealth in terms of cattle, and goats, and and their culture, you know what I mean? So to them, money is not that important, right?
No, it's not.
But those cows, one cow is worth a lot of money. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah.
So you see this tribal looking man, yeah, with lots of notes to go and buy the cattle, and you're like, what's going on here? What am I not getting? Money that somebody that works in an office cannot produce. But they don't care so much about that. They don't
No.
care so much about the money. They
No.
care about conserving their culture because they know that's where true wealth is, you know, because
And
they
they're
have
not
that
wrong
sense of
about that.
believing,
Yeah.
and that sense of knowing who they are, which is
Yeah.
worth more
Yeah.
than the currency papers, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And they're not wrong, because I've recently really learned money has zero value. As a parent, yes, of course, you need to put a roof over your head and you need to have food on the table and they need to be dressed. But if you put your child in designer clothes or you put them in normal non-brand clothes you would buy from Lidl, I don't know if you guys have Lidl or Kick, and you're not present, you're working all the time so you can buy this brand stuff or this fancy holidays, but you're not present in your child's life, you're creating some next generational trauma already there.
Exactly. 100%.
And this is the illusion that we've been taught.
Told, yeah.
It's not even just taught, it's more of a gospel. It's their own gospel, literally, of saying money, 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 money. So as a child, especially if you grew up in poverty, you're thinking, okay, I need to get out of this poverty. I need to get out of this poverty. And instantly you have poverty mentality. You're chasing money and you're missing out on a whole life you could have discovered because you're chasing a paper. It's literally
100%.
just a paper.
There are some farmers that are coming up, African farmers that are coming up, right? And they're sharing their journey on Instagram. And hopefully, if you farmers can hear me, please come on my live, because I've been trying to get them to come on, right? I've only got one guy from Uganda that I've interviewed. I think he was here earlier. I think he's gone now. You'll probably see his interview on my YouTube, right? But I've been trying to get hold of the South African one, like from Zimbabwe and down there, you know, because they're doing amazing work, right? And they're taking back their families to the farms. They're starting to teach them how to farm, you know? And you can see the happiness in them, you know? They're just so happy. They're so joyful, you know, to rediscover the wealth that was right there all this time. That they've been brainwashed not to see.
And this is the thing. Our version of wealth is completely different, because wealth has nothing to do with money. Wealth is that I'm a mom and I have my husband. We have a great partnership going.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have a healthy marriage going. That is wealth, because you cannot buy that. Our kids are doing incredibly well in school. That is wealth. They're doing incredibly well in their development as they develop. You can see it as a parent. Those things no one can take from you. That is the real wealth.
Absolutely.
Money is icing on top of the cake. If we are able to afford a holiday once in a year, that's amazing to switch off. But
and there will always be a bar, right, Tari? There will always be a bar to climb if you're relying on money or you're just thinking about money all the time. I say what is important is that you're living within your calling and within your purpose. Because if you're living within your calling and within your purpose, right, it will be provided for you. Whatever you need will just be showing up like that.
I love that because it's something that I've learned, and it's something I really believe I'm meant to teach. So this also goes back to knowing each and every single one of us, when we were born with a life calling in us. Like a huge light.
100%. I believe that, Tari, 100%. Nobody can tell me that they don't have a calling.
No, you just don't know it yet.
You just don't know it yet because the education system have corrupted your mind and you're not seeing it, right?
No, not just that. You know, if you place a baby, if a baby is born, for example, when I was born, I was named Tariro Gurira. Tariro, my mom named me Tariro. It means hope, by the way. My mother
Okay.
said she was pregnant. She didn't know who my father was. She didn't even know if it's going to be a boy or a girl. So Tariro is a unisex name in my culture. And she
Okay.
said I was going to be called Tariro. She said I was going to be a hope. And I'm like, oh, thank you, mom. No pressure. But anyway, but as I'm born innocent, pure, with this purpose, with this light inside of me. But then as I grow up, the environment shapes that. So I had extreme
Hey, ad woman.
environments.
Hey.
My mom was the ladies of the night, like I said, and she didn't know who my father was until I was born, because I came out looking a bit lighter, and she's like, oh, that's who your father was. And later on, as I asked her who my father is, she was like, to be honest, I don't remember, because it was in a one night stand. I know what it looks like, I can still remember it, but I don't know his name, I don't know where exactly he lived, nothing like that. So I couldn't find him. And then my mother had her own trauma. And this goes back to my grandfather. My grandfather, I believe, had bipolar. He wasn't an alcoholic or anything, but he had these moments where he would just kick out his whole family in the middle of the night, my grandmother and 5 of his children. And he was very violent, very, very violent. So at some point, my grandmother decided to leave. My mom was 4 years old when she decided to leave, and she also had a 2-year-old. So when she left the 2-year-old, the youngest. She left my mom, this 4-year-old little girl, with this violent man. And my mom had so much wounds. She still has. And so she got pregnant with my older brother at 17. That's where it started. My mother was just lashing out. She was in pain. And of course, as a child in that moment, I didn't understand it. I just thought, she is cruel. She's really, really cruel. You know, at some point, things were so bad, you would ask, is she really my mother? And I've talked to my sister, and she said, I asked the same too. And the older you get, now I was able to trace it back. And I know, and it even goes deeper than that, because I know my grandmother grew up in an orphanage. And so it goes my grandmother to orphanage. She marries this man who clearly had his own demons. He was horrible to all of them. And then the one who got it the worst was my mom. She was left with this monster, basically. And I have had also that even that he used to treat her as a wife. That means he used to abuse her. And so when my mom turned 17, 18, my older brother came, and after that she became wild, partying, sleeping around, having one kid after another. And at some point people tried helping, but I think no one could help. She was Ooh, that was my cat. No worries, everything's fine.
Okay.
And then
I think the energy are shifting as well when you're sharing your story. It's all good. It's all good. Let it come out, you know?
Yeah. So growing up, my mother was very cruel. Like, I watched her take my oldest brother's hands and put them on a burning stove to punish him. You know, there's discipline and then there's cruelty. And what my mother did was absolutely cruel. And I remember there's so many occasions. Some of them have even blacked out in my head. Like, I recently had a memory where she beat me so hard in the head. She kept on hitting me in the head with a brush. She hit me so hard until I passed out. And I lost this memory. I literally recently recovered it. And I woke up the following day confused because I don't know what happened. I just remember her beating me, and I waking up the following day with the craziest headache of my life. And I remember she kept on asking me if I have a headache because she knew what she had done. And I kept on saying, no, I don't have a headache. You know, the headache where you can barely bend down.
So she was feeling guilty afterwards, after what she's done. Yeah.
And not just that, she had moments where if her boyfriends came, if you say hello, she would be like, you want to take my boyfriend? Like, seriously.
Yeah. And she was seriously damaged. She was seriously damaged.
We were like 8, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're looking, and then if the boyfriend comes, because then you learn from the last time, and you just say hi and you make yourself disappear because you don't want trouble.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, you're making my boyfriend feel uncomfortable. So no matter what you do,
no matter what you do. And the crazy thing is, you've carried that with you all this time, trying to make yourself disappear, you
Yeah.
know,
Trying to make myself small. I've
making
tried to
yourself
make myself
small, you
small.
know,
Yeah.
because you do not want to get into trouble,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And as you're sharing your story, I'm remembering my story as well with my mom, you know. She used to beat me up like the same, well, not the same, but like yours is really extreme, right? But yeah, she would beat me up until like I'm faking, like I'm fainting or I'm dead or something. Leave me
Yeah.
alone, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And still she would continue beating me up, like, you know, and she would lock the doors to make sure that I
Yeah.
don't escape.
Yeah.
And
You know,
that's very traumatic, you know. And then obviously the same thing she would do, like your mom would do, like mine would try and nurse me later on, because I'll be all swollen and, you know, giving me painkillers, you know. And it was just horrible. And, you know, obviously I'll be bloody as well. I still
yeah.
have marks
Yeah.
on my face of when
Yeah.
she scratched my face.
Mhm.
And listening to you, I'm just want to let you know that you're not alone. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing this with us, because it's been very, very difficult for me to share, you know, a lot of the things that have happened to me, but they need to be shared.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I started this platform. I'm like, even if I don't have many audience, it's not about the audience. It's not
Yeah.
about also the money or whatever. It's
No.
about us sharing our story. It's
Yeah.
about us being heard. It's
Yeah.
about us encouraging each other,
Yeah.
telling the other woman, you know what? You grew up in Africa, your mom beat you up. I get it, you know?
It's
I
about the tribe. Yeah.
It's about, yeah, and it's about the community. It's about us healing together, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And acknowledging each other's pain. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes. Me and you sharing right now that there's a small versions of ourselves is going, wow, I finally get to be heard. And I finally get to receive acknowledgement and what's the English word I'm looking for? You know, I'm finally being seen and
Absolutely.
and I want to go back to I was
Okay,
talking
Wairimo,
about
Dayo.
you're born with this light inside of you, and but then all these things happen. So in the end, you adapt to all of those things because you have to survive somehow. You know, at one point, my brother, he was 14. He drank poison, and he tried to kill himself. He was 14, and you think that would make us stop, but it didn't. And of course it didn't make sense, but now that I'm older, I really realize that she was in her own pain and she was lashing. And of course it does not it does not excuse what she did to us, because it ruined us. It really did ruin us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to talk about purpose is, when you now work through all of that, you literally need to sit down and sift through everything you thought you knew about yourself. Is this really
Absolutely.
me, or was this a survival suit I had to wear? Is this
Yeah,
really who I am?
Taryn, is also like you getting to know you're not a bad person, you know? You didn't deserve the beatings,
No,
right?
no,
You
no.
deserve to be loved,
Yeah,
you know? You are a good human. You're whole. You're
yeah,
whole. There's
yeah.
nothing missing from you. There's nothing wrong with you,
No,
you know?
absolutely nothing.
And
Nothing.
having to acknowledge that in your adulthood is not easy when the little child in you is still crying and
Yes,
begging,
yes,
you know, to be remembered and to be
yes.
seen, you
You know,
know?
I talked about in my book, I talked about the father wound that I had to give up, that I didn't know I had. And I
Yeah.
figured it out as I was writing my book. I remember that day when it was happening. I rarely cried in front of my kids. I think I started crying last year in front of my kids. And my son, he was 16. He was like, "Wow, mom, I've never really seen you cry before,"
Yeah.
which is wrong. I
Wow.
think they need to see me fall apart and be a human being, so
Yeah.
they don't hold themselves up to such a crazy, unexpected standard of perfection,
Yeah.
which does not
Absolutely.
exist. And I remember I was crying, and I couldn't just stop the tears falling from my eyes. And I'm smiling and talking to my kids, and my tears are just falling. And my kids are like,
That's good. That's
"Oh,
good.
what's wrong?" And I said, "No, I'm really fine. I'm just
Yeah,
processing something right now, and I need to feel sad for a while."
absolutely.
And then of course they're asking, "Did you have a fight with Papa?" And I said, "No." It's
Yeah,
funny, because a few minutes later, I realized, like, I'm gonna go in the bedroom and close the door and just be by myself and release this. And my husband walks in, and instantly he's like, "Did I do something? What's going on? How can I fix it?" And I had to tell
yeah,
him, "No, I need to sit here and release this, and I just need to sit here and process this. I love you. It's nothing to do with you guys, and
absolutely.
I'm okay. This
Yeah,
is good. What's happening is good."
it's a good
And I
thing.
remember I sat there and I cried, and I said to my higher self, the divine, the source, where were you when this happened? Where were you when that happened? Why didn't I get this? Why didn't I get the unconditional love like every child? The way I love my children right now, I couldn't
Absolutely.
imagine any of it.
Yeah,
And why that was important is because that little girl inside of me needed to cry to release her grief. I needed to grieve the childhood I never had, the love I never
absolutely.
received.
Absolutely.
When my kids know that we're their parents, without a doubt, they don't have to question if we love them or not. They know because we show it to them. And when you grow up and you don't know what love is, and you're looking for it everywhere you go, and
Absolutely.
it changes constantly, But
Yeah,
when you finally realize, okay, this is apart from all of these facades, I got to meet myself. Do you know how beautiful it is to meet yourself for the first time?
absolutely.
And you just be like, wow, this is who I really am. And actually, I'm the opposite of who I used to be. I
Absolutely.
never liked being seen or being in the spotlight. But I love talking to people, and I
Yeah.
love teaching, And
You just
another thing,
adapted a persona just because you
no,
needed to
we wear
survive.
masks. We wear masks. And the
Yeah.
reason we wear masks is because the reason why I wore masks is because I didn't know who I was. So when you get to a specific, when you get so good at surviving, you get really good at adapting. My husband actually calls me a chameleon. He says you have this ability to match whatever environment you're in, and I've seen this. I always used to say, you can post me in the rural, you can send me in the rural, like, deep areas, and you can post
Yeah.
me, like, I always find my way, and I
Yeah,
always do really good.
that's something you get from Mama Africa. So you have Mama Africa to thank for that, because most
Yeah.
of us, we're just able to survive, put us in any environment.
But those are masks as well. I realized, because I didn't know who I was in that moment, or who I needed to be in that moment, I wore a mask. I became,
Yeah, it's survival. It's survival. It's
yes,
obviously
I
it's
became what was
survival.
expected of me. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I realize I don't have to wear any masks anymore.
Absolutely.
I usually used to have braids or wig. I've done away with all of that. Even me dyeing my hair blonde was me just trying to fit in. But I don't need any of that anymore. Right now, I'm
You don't
wearing
need
full
find an identity that
I already have.
resonates with your heart.
Yes.
Is
I already
resonates with your whole being, not
Yes.
just a
Yes.
little tiny part of you, but your whole being, and be unapologetic.
The beautiful thing is, what you uncover is so special because it's only you. There's a reason why God gave you that one specific purpose. And this is
Absolutely.
how it comes back to purpose. What I found out is, when you know who you are and you finally see yourself for the first time, and you know your purpose, this purpose has always been inside of you. It's the light that carries each and every one of us. It's the light that connects us to our Creator. And when you finally find your purpose, it's like coming home to yourself. You're no longer going to chase things that are not yours. You're not going to waste time chasing other people's things.
I know.
Because your purpose and my purpose are two different things. If I start chasing your purpose, I'm going to fail miserably.
Exactly. And that's where scarcity mindset need to go away. You know what I mean? The survival mindset that you had, that if somebody else has something, then I'm gonna be lacking. You know what I mean? Just knowing that you're on this very beautiful journey that we are all together. You're playing your part, I'm playing my part, I'm doing my thing, you're doing your thing. And then one day it will all come nicely together and we'll have a healed world. That's it.
It's nice that it's nice that you're saying that, because we are a collective. You know, you are your own individual. You have your own purpose and mission. I have my own purpose and mission, and this is why I say if I try to do yours, I'll miserably fail because I've got
Absolutely, because yeah, and the experiences you have, they are unique experiences.
Yes. I mean, if we're all doctors, who's going to be there to do the cooking, and who's going to be there to make
Absolutely.
the clothes, and who's going to be there? So, at the end of the day, the funny thing is, it all comes into play because we are all this huge collective that has to learn to live with each other, appreciate each other,
Absolutely.
because what
Yeah.
you have, I need, and what I have, you need. Now, if I'm trying to be you or you're trying to be me, there's this whole
It just don't work like that. Absolutely.
no, there's this whole
And
purpose, this
the
whole
whole
function not being used.
the whole point of Diaspora Daughter is for every diaspora daughter to know themselves. Right? That is it. It's as simple as that. Know yourself, know what you're good at, know what you came here to do, and don't allow your childhood or your background to hold you back. It's that simple. You know, I just want to see you being your full authentic self. Because that's how we're gonna heal as a people, you know. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Your story is very, very powerful, and it has a way of healing so many people, because not many people can talk about these things because most people haven't done the work, right? And I know you still have work to do, but most people, they've not done the work enough to be able to articulate what happened to them, and you know, how they can make peace with it, if that makes sense, because that's all we have to do. I remember I spoke to a lady, and that lady could see the other side, and she told me that my mom is coming through and she just want to say sorry for everything. I don't know whether your mom is still around. If she is, just know you need to forgive her, okay? Yeah, so my mom came through, and you know, she was very, very sorry about what happened, because she didn't know any better, you know. And I forgive her, you know, and I see the beauty in her, you know. I see the resilience in her. I see what was going on. I see the pain that she was in, you know. And because she's an African woman who was single, trying to survive, you know, working very hard in the best way she knew how, you know, we have to forgive. We have to forgive them, you know, and we have to live that healed life, so that we don't even have to say anything. If your mom is alive, you don't have to say much. They will see by the way you carry yourself. You know.
You know, I see it as they didn't have the tools.
Absolutely.
They didn't have the tools that we now have, the exposure that we now have, the reflection that we now have. They didn't have. And another thing is, yes, absolutely forgive. I have forgiven my mother a long time ago. My mother is still alive. She still has her unending demands.
100%.
I still love her and put boundaries. This is something that I learned in German that I absolutely love, because putting your boundaries, choosing yourself and choosing to love yourself, because you can't love or give from an empty cup, you know. So yes, absolutely, forgiveness is important, but don't forget who you are. Don't forget
the boundary.
I love my mother, and I think she is unable to change in the way that we would have wanted, or we could have benefited from. Because she still has this crazy expectations of, because we're in the diaspora, you know, like how we're supposed to be taking care of her. But I refuse, because I've been taking care of her my whole life since I was a small little girl, and taking care of my siblings. And now I have my own family, you know. And so I refuse now for her to keep on taking from me just because she's my mother. It's absolutely not a crime that she gave birth to me. I do not have to remain imprisoned with that. And we've made some progress. We've talked about a lot of things before.
Yeah, that's good. And any progress is good, you know, even if it's not that huge, you know. And what is more important than anything for you right now is to heal, right? So that you can be there whole to your children, you know, because your children now are your priority.
Yeah.
Your children
Yeah,
are your priority right now.
I believe, and I do not say this lightly, I believe I've done the work, and I have, I've counseled a lot of trauma that kept on circulating in my family. I really believe I've counseled all of this, and I even see it with my other siblings and cousins as well. And we've talked about it when you talk about the generation before us and us now. We're not perfect, of course, but now we're making our own. And the difference is we're conscious that our actions do not just affect us, but they will affect the generation we're raising and the generation after.
True. What a privilege is that?
Yes. So you're very intentional with the way you love, you're intentional with the way you teach, the way you discipline, you're intentional with the way you express your being, the way you carry yourself.
Yeah.
All of it, your life is literally a witness to them.
Absolutely.
Because they will remember from that, and I hope they will continue the work that I've started, not take everything from me, because I'm still just a person growing and understanding things differently. And I see this in my kids, and I'm very proud of it, and I know I've made it just because of that, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'm very grateful for that. So all of that pain was not for nothing. It taught me so much. It taught me so much about people. I learned to observe. I learned to read situations. And at the same time, it taught me who I didn't want to be. So I knew, okay, this is definitely not who I want to be. But then the question is open: who do I want to be? And that is, if you allow yourself to be whatever it is you want to be, of course, in alignment to your purpose. Trust me, you will enjoy such a rich and full life, and it wouldn't have nothing to do with money. Money will.
It's a byproduct. I see money as a byproduct of.
Yes, it's a frequency. It literally you attract it, not the other way around. We spend all of our days and time chasing it when it's supposed to be attracted to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tell us now a little bit about your book, and where we can get it, and why you wrote the book.
So I'd always wanted to write a book because my life story, when I'm telling people about it, it sounds like a movie. And I've always been a writer. I express myself a lot through writing. It started when I was like a teenager, because I had no one to really share my emotions with, and it wasn't safe to share my emotions with anyone. And I always wrote spoken word and all of that. And people always said, you should write your life story. You should write your life story. But after I came out of the hospital, I had this strength that came from nowhere, but I believe it was my grandma, saying it's time now for me to write my story. It's time to share my story with the world. And all of a sudden I started, and I remember even my husband was feeling a bit ignored, because I would wake up I would wake up at 4 a.m. for myself. Everyone is still sleeping, and I'll just sneak downstairs and sit on my laptop and start writing, because it was so hot in my heart. I had to get it out as I was processing it. So the first part is my childhood and everything I went through, scratching the surface, but you will get the idea. The first part is very rough to get through, and the second and third part is how I came to Germany and all of that, and my awakening journey, and have an open mind about this, and I believe it 100% because I've lived it. And so I got pulled back for a reason, and this was my ancestors pulling me back, because I was going way down I was going down the rabbit road, and so they pulled me back into isolation, and what I thought was happening to me was being done for me. And it's only in this isolation I was called to remember who I am. It's literally saying the ancestors, the elders, saying, sit down, little girl. You need to remember. It's time for you to wake up and remember who you are.
Absolutely.
And I went through shedding a lot of my identities, the ego, the pride, I became very efficient in relying on myself. I was a powerhouse, literally a powerhouse. And I was standing too much in my masculine energy, and that was destabilizing me, because I'm not meant to stand in my masculine energy. It was destabilizing how I was parenting. It was destabilizing my marriage. And now I'm fully in my divine energy, in my divine, in my feminine energy. And
That's good.
it's not that the masculine is not there anymore. It's a healthy masculine, a balanced one,
Yeah,
the one where
absolutely.
I allow myself to be in my divine presence and allow my husband to be the husband and I'm the woman.
Absolutely.
So that's what my book is about. It was going about what I was going through internally, and I call it shadow work because you sit with all the things you usually run away from, that you
Absolutely.
distract yourself away from, and I sat with all of my pain and I sat with all of my wounds, and for the first time I didn't run away from it. I embraced it.
Mm-hmm.
And I allowed myself to feel it, and that was so hard. But I'm grateful that I was led through it, because on the other side of it, I found myself, like I said, I
Absolutely.
found God, and I found out that we've been lied to about so many things. And
Absolutely.
now I'm just on my journey of discovery. And in
Yeah,
this
show us the book. Show us the yeah. Wow, amazing.
So you will
Amazing. Well
find it on
done.
Amazon. I published it on Amazon. I have already started on my next book. I know what I want to write about it because I'm already going through the lessons. And I believe I'm meant to go through the lessons, overcome them, or they're like keys, basically. You go through, if you allow yourself to go through that one dark moment,
Mm-hmm.
you go to the next, and then you go to the next. And now I believe I've gone through all of my childhood trauma. But
Amazing.
now I know there is still so much uncovering of who I
Yeah.
am now and who I'm
Mm-hmm.
becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be my next book. But A Life Without Masks, you'll find it on Amazon. It's also in Kindle. It's on soft copy edition. Please read it. Let me know what you think. I would really love to
Absolutely.
hear your review.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll
It's
have a look. I'll have a look, definitely.
it's a very easy read. But it really breaks down to what was going inside of me internally,
Mm-hmm.
and how I discovered what alignment is and how to
Mm-hmm.
align myself. And the God that I had been taught to worship was basically strangling me. This Christian God that, you have to be perfect and holy.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
trying to do all those things as a human being was impossible, and it was
Yeah.
strangling me.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, I found out that God is inside of me,
Yeah.
and I don't need to be anything other than myself.
Yeah.
And I'm really free now. I'm free of people's expectations. I'm free of the masks of this world. The best way to say it is I've broken out of the matrix, but then I know that's like a very vague way to explain it. But get the book and let me know what you think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I look forward to reading the book. Yeah, so you're so inspiring. And thank you so much for joining Diaspora Daughters podcast.
Thank you very much for having
Hopefully
me.
one day we'll be able to physically meet and do a proper podcast.
Absolutely.
In a proper studio. So yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for all the work you do. You're going to heal many women, and men. Your book is amazing, and thank you so much for putting it on paper. And that just shows the amount of work you've had to do to get to a point where you're actually writing a book and it's actually manifesting. So how amazing is that, right? And now you just get to do it all over again. It's a game of repetition, right?
Now I uncover the next part. It's more like, okay, what else is there for me to uncover? And I'm a very curious person, so I love it. I really love it.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's amazing. Do you offer any other services?
So I'm a healer, and I found that I recently found this out. I have this way of helping people find out what's going on inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I sit down with you, I did 2 semesters of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister always said, that should be a job. And I thought too, after this breakdown, I'm going to go study psychology because I always wanted to be a child psychologist. But now I realize I just have this gift, this ability to help people sort out themselves from the inside because I've done the work. And I believe that's the work that I came here to do, to teach and to heal and to teach people about all of this stuff.
Absolutely. Amazing. So yeah, perfect. I'm going to download this on YouTube, so you'll be able to share it with your audience. And actually, you will have a copy as well from YouTube,
Yeah,
anyway, and then you can
yeah,
upload it to your YouTube as well. So that's amazing, right?
yeah. I will say one last thing before I go. I am very passionate about this work, and I believe it's at a crucial point right now because we as adults don't like to talk about childhoods, like you said, because it's in the past. You know, the past is in the past. But still, the younger version of you, which actually reacts to all of this stuff, and
Yeah,
that's why you find people who get triggered. For example, when I used to get triggered, I used to react. But now when I get triggered, I'm asking myself, why did I get triggered? What is it that made me uncomfortable, that offended me? Because it's often tied to some unhealed stuff, not always.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
some moments I have to be like, that is BS.
yeah,
Anyway, so I'm very passionate about this work, about the shadow work. I call it the shadow work because I don't like calling it childhood trauma because it's been labeled a lot, and it is shadow work because you're not a child anymore, you're not in trauma anymore, but that trauma still follows you, and it
absolutely.
really dictates how you present yourself. It
Yeah,
dictates how you handle your relationships, how you mother, how you work. Everything is connected to it, and I'm so passionate about it. And I understand it so well now, and I'm continuing to. And so I'm going to also start doing podcasts soon exactly on this topic and breaking it down. And go over to my page, follow, like for more. I've been posting videos, but now I'm going to really start doing podcasts as well, just talking about it.
absolutely. That's amazing. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time, for your story, and yeah, let us know how you get on with your books. When you have a new one, let us know as well, and we'll call you up again for another interview. So yeah,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. So thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
all the best with everything. Yeah.
You too. You too. And
All right.
I'm very proud of you too for you doing this job. I took a walk in the morning after I dropped my kids, and I was just talking to my maker, and for me this is just a beginning of making myself. This was a test, basically, of being in a spotlight because it's something that usually I never liked.
Yeah.
And I really heard God say to me also that you have been so blessed in allowing this to happen, that it's been a moment you have been waiting for as well, and this is just the beginning, and that your work is so important. Because if we come already from Africa and we have lost our identity, and then you come to Europe, it's gonna be a disaster because it's just
Absolutely.
gonna keep on going.
Yeah.
And there is a beauty that we bring as Africans in this side of the world that they don't know about. And if we embrace it, if we literally stand on it with pride, but that can only happen once you know who you are and you're part of it. Because
Absolutely.
we are anchors, and we are like light towers.
Yeah.
They see how we live too. There is such a great testimony in you being your authentic self and living exactly and fully as who you're meant to be, because they are watching. Everyone else is watching.
Absolutely.
And do not be afraid to be yourself. It is so freeing. We're meant to be free. We're not meant to be caged. That's why there's so many mental health issues right now.
Yeah.
So my advice before I go, I love talking. I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are perfect exactly the way you are. God created you, handpicked you for a specific reason. You don't need to be me. You don't need to be Gladys. You need to be yourself. And if you don't know who that is yet, you owe it to yourself to go and find out. And when you do, come look for me and we'll explore it together.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of our interview. But definitely not the end of us sitting down again and exploring these amazing topics, because it's quite deep topics that we've kind of just brushed over. I didn't even have to go through the questions the way I had it on paper, just because the conversation just, was flowing. So, which is amazing. When that happened, I'm like, yes.
We definitely have a lot of work together. We should definitely do this in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. So have yourself a lovely day
You
and
too.
say hi to your little ones.
I will.
And
You too.
all right, bye
Goodbye,
bye.
everyone. Yeah, bye.
Bye bye bye.